Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. In this week's news, a 3-building development is coming to downtown Oxford. The Sheriff's Office and Oxford Township Parks and Recs are up for a funding vote, and the township says limit outdoor watering, please.
Stay tuned, learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. A 3-building development is coming to downtown Oxford. Local developer Dave Weckl is leading the project. A 60 by 60 foot 3-story building will be located on the southwest corner of East Burdick and Mill Streets. Weckl said the shell of the building should be completed by November and finish work scheduled for completion over the winter. The building will be mixed use, with the first floor a coffee house, bakery, second floor reserved for office space, and third floor will have condos with a deck. Weckl said the overall construction plans include future development within the area.
The Addison Township Board is closer to approving a new library. Officials voted 6-0 to approve the project. Officials will waive the $300 application fee and cut in half the over $5,000 site plan review fee. The new library will be a 5,000 square foot building on nearly 4 acres. Funding the project is Addison Library savings, a loan, and donations. Library Director Jema Berman said she was glad the township continues to support the Addison Library and the new building. It's all about bringing people together in the community, both now and into the future, according to Jema.
Oxford Elementary School is losing their support staff. Secretary Donna Weiss, paraprofessional Maureen Kiplinger, and special education paraprofessional Peggy Kay are retiring. Kiplinger said she will never forget when kids would finally understand a lesson and that she was teaching. Weiss said she will remember how grateful kids were when she fixed their cuts and scrapes. Kay and her husband will convert their up north cottage to a permanent residence. The Oxford school system, parents, children, and many friends will surely miss their presence in the community.
Oxford Township is asking residents to limit water usage in the mornings. The hot weather is making it difficult to maintain adequate levels in the elevated water storage tank. The township is asking 2 things. First, please do not water lawns between 5 and 9 a.m. This is the time frame of daily peak water demand. And secondly, set automatic sprinklers to run between midnight and 5 a.m. Manual watering can be continued as needed.
Senior Josh Shaner won 2 awards at the Michigan Industrial and Technology Educational Society Automotive Competition. Shaner placed 2nd in steering and suspension and 3rd place in the brakes category. Shaner would like a future career in the automotive industry, but says that could change. He was part of a Dan Belsley's automotive technical program at Oxford High School.
Voters will be asked about approving 2 operating millages on the August 6th ballot. One millage is to fund the township's contract with the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. The other is to fund the Oxford Township Parks and Recreation Department. The current Parks and Recs millage expires in December. The Parks and Recs millage increases by 18 cents per $1,000 of a home's taxable value. Taxable value is half the assessed value of the property. If you have questions, Parks and Recs Director Ron Davis urges you to call him at 248-628-1720. You can also call the Oxford Township Treasurer at 248-628-9787.
A longtime Oxford Village resident and World War II veteran, Robert Lee Scott Jr., passed away on July 19th. He was 91. He is survived by his wife of 65 years, Jerry. Enlisted in the U.S. Navy in 1944, Mr. Scott fought in the Pacific Theater against Japan, serving aboard a landing ship transporting troops to beaches during the war. Visitation was Friday, July 26th, and a memorial mass was held on Saturday, July 27th at St. Joseph Catholic Church in Lake Orion. Interment with military honors was at Great Lakes National Cemetery in Holly, Michigan.
That's a tough one to lose. He was a dear man to the entire community. He cared about the village and cared about the people in the village. He was a really great guy.
I know you were the village president, village council president, and he sat in the audience quite often.
He never missed a meeting, unless he and Jerry went south for the winter. But boy, as soon as they were back, they were right back in that audience. They were kind of a mainstay for me. They made me feel good about being where I was at. And he never failed to either say, "You were wrong, Terry," or "I liked your decision." He was very good about communicating to that board what he felt the residents needed in that community.
I never
Good
heard
guy.
him speak an ill word of anyone. He would question certain issues that were coming up.
Yeah.
I know I observed him in the audience when I was on the council and also the zoning board of appeals.
Yeah.
So he attended many meetings, with the village.
Yeah.
And was a concerned resident and citizen, and he wasn't shy about speaking up.
No,
he did speak
wasn't.
up.
Not only did he serve his country, but he served his community in that respect. I mean, he spoke for people that were afraid to speak, or he just felt like something was going on that was wrong. He spoke up.
Both very nice people,
Yeah.
and I do know that everywhere Scotty went, I think it wasn't far that Jerry was behind.
Jerry was always, I never saw those two apart, and they were not strangers to anyone. You could go into the Nugget, or what's now Mario's, I think.
Mario's.
And he'd walk in, and everybody it was kind of like Hi Norm on Cheers. Hi,
Right.
Bob. Hi, Mr. Scott. They're just upstanding citizens in our community. That's a tough loss. And he lived a beautiful life. He really did. And took very good care of Jerry. I feel bad for Jerry right now.
Yes.
Nice lady, too.
Totally agree. Definitely have our thoughts.
Yeah,
and
they do. Yeah,
prayers.
yeah. And, keep your loved ones close. If there's a little squabble, get it done and over with. Gosh, I should take my
That's
own
good
medicine.
advice.
So that's it for Oxford News this week. If you'd like to learn more about these stories and others, you can pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader, or better yet, catch us on our website, occtv.org, on YouTube, and of course our regular cable channel, Spectrum, channel 191, and Charter, AT&T, channel 99.
Close enough. Coming up is OCTV's very own Cody Wright with school sports, Alexis Ware with school news, and you won't want to miss Auto Talk and Science in the News with Dave Kenny.
I'm Terry Stiles. Thanks for watching Oxford News this week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, huge wildfires are continuing to burn across the Arctic and have now released more carbon dioxide in 2019 than in any year since satellite records began nearly 2 decades ago. Temperatures have been well above average in the region, and fires erupted in boreal peatlands across Siberia around June 9th. Normally, the fires would last a few days, but this year some vegetation in peatland has been ablaze for a month and a half. The result is the rapid release of more than 121 megatons of carbon dioxide, more than Belgium's annual emissions, eclipsing the previous record of 110 megatons of CO2 for the whole of 2004. Based on our 17 years of data, this is unusual, particularly for northern Siberia, says Mark Parrington of the European Center for Medium-Range Weather Forecast. The wildfire season in the Arctic usually runs from the start of July to the end of August, so Parrington notes the burning could continue for several more weeks yet, emitting even more carbon dioxide. Fires are not unknown in the region, but the duration of these are particularly unusual. While the fires were initially clustered around the north of the Sakha region in Russia, more fires have appeared elsewhere in Russia, along with Alaska and even southwest of Greenland. Many of the Arctic fires are on peatland and could have been started by lightning strikes, judging from the type of clouds before the fires started and the color of the smoke, an analysis by Thomas Smith of the London School of Economics found. As well as bad news for efforts to tackle climate change, smoke from the fires has an immediate impact on human health. And in our next story, the global warming caused by humanity since the Industrial Revolution has been found to be without parallel in the past 2,000 years in the latest blow to a climate skeptic myth. Earlier hot and cold periods over the past 2 millennia, such as the Roman warm period that ended around the year 750, were previously thought to be global phenomena. That has led climate change deniers to suggest that current phase of warming could be a natural trend akin to those of past fluctuations. A new analysis has found strong evidence that 4 past natural fluctuations were actually regional events. They did not span the globe simultaneously, but often took centuries to move around the world. The lowest temperatures of the Little Ice Age, for example, were recorded in the 15th century in parts of the Pacific, the 17th century in northwestern Europe and southeastern North America, and not until the 19th century elsewhere in the world. By comparison, the rise in temperature over the past 2 centuries has been felt across 98% of the Earth, reaching every corner apart from Antarctica. Such consistency over space is unprecedented in the last 2,000 years. And in the air, dark feathers may help birds fly more efficiently. They heat up the animal's wings and the surrounding air, which might help increase airflow over the wing. Researchers at the University of Ghent studied several bird species to see how the color of feathers affects wing temperature during flight. They thermally imaged an osprey and found out that dark feathers on the bird become warmer than light ones. To see how wing temperatures change during flight, the team then used stuffed bird wings of different species in a wind tunnel and heated them with infrared light bulbs similar in intensity to being outdoors on a sunny and cloudy days. They exposed osprey, gannet, and black gull wings to wind speeds of 6, 12, and 18 meters per second, similar to birds' natural flight speeds. We wanted to simulate flight under realistic conditions, says Regala. The species chosen were large soaring birds which can increase their altitude without flapping wings by riding and rising on air currents. The team heated each wing for 2 minutes before placing it in wind for 2 minutes. Darker feathers heated up much more than light feathers, and they found temperature differences of about 9 degrees between black and white, says Regala. We would even find these temperature differences in the same wing. The research suggests that a common wing pattern, such as white feathers at the root of the wing where it attaches to the body, and black feathers at the wing tips could increase lift while flying. The temperature difference between the light and dark feathers creates convective currents in the air above the wing that move from the cooler base of the wing to the darker tips. This boosts the airflow over the wing, which may make flight more efficient. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
Hello everyone and welcome back to School News. There are a few more events coming for the summer at the Edison and Oxford Public Library. Oxford still has their Throwback Thursday movies, Maker Mondays, and year-round club meetings and their game nights. They also have their lock-in programs. The next one is Nerf Games Lock-In on Friday, August 9th from 6 until 9 p.m. The Dungeons & Dragons Club meets Thursday, August 1st and Thursday, August 5th. Library Mysteries are Tuesday, August 13th at 6:30 and 7:30, and Magic the Gathering Club is August 8th at 6. Oxford Township Parks and Recreation has their summer camp going on. They offer both before and after care for weekly and daily rates. This week goes until August 2nd, next week, week 9, starting from August 5th until August 9th, and the final week of camp is August 12th until the 16th. Over at Addison this Monday, July 29th, is an end of summer reading party starting at 6:30. Tuesday, July 30th, is a Caterpillars event with local butterfly expert Jed Broomfield. This event starts at 11 a.m. The next event at Addison Library isn't until Saturday, August 10th for Junk in the Trunk sale starting at 10 a.m. The Parks and Rec magazine also offers discount tickets for Cedar Point, Michigan Adventure, and the Detroit Zoo. For each of these different locations, be sure to stop by Parks and Rec and pick up a magazine to see the logins and codes. Before going into board news, I would like to say a farewell to Oxford Schools 2019 retirees. It's a long list of 12 names, starting with Donna Bukowski, Deborah Bunker, Peggy Kay, Maureen Kipplinger, Kathy Marconi, Kurt Meyer, Patricia Mueller, Kristen Pelty, Linda Travanker, Gail Tucker, Michelle Wellen, and Donna West. I apologize so much, guys, if I messed up your name during the course of that. There was a lot of names there. While we're on the topic, though, of new and exiting facility members, I would like to give a warm and friendly greeting to the new director of Oxford Early Learning, Ann Robb. Look for an exclusive interview with her on the next episode of Schooling Around, Mondays through Fridays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. And moving into board news, at the recent Board of Education meeting on July 23rd, they discussed topics including Blessings in a Backpack, Crossroads Graduate, Oxford Virtual Academy curriculum, security updates, and a big topic on their agenda, the K-9 units in the district. Take a look at the approved motion as board members discuss this topic.
Love it. Review our K-9 agreement.
Yeah, so all of you should have received in your board packet the outline of the agreement from the township. I think the benefits to this is that we allocate money towards the K-9 unit. Some hidden benefits is that we can request multiple types of dogs, not just one dog. And we can create our own schedule, and we can schedule the K-9 unit at multiple buildings, both during the day and the night. So I think the only thing I would just say in general above what was in that contract is that while we have allocated this amount of money, by no means do we have to spend it. And I think that's another benefit, and that I like sort of easing into this, and that we may go through this year and find out maybe we want twice as much service. We may get a month or two into it and find out maybe this isn't what we thought it was. And
there were a lot of questions being asked about who would be in charge of the dogs, what type of dogs would be used, and what schools they would be in. It is important to know that the K-9 unit is going district-wide, so it will be in all schools, elementary on up. Superintendent Tim Throne did state that it will primarily be used in the high schools, but that is not limited to. To see the full Board of Ed meeting, visit our Facebook and YouTube pages at Oxford Community Television. Remember that if you like to be in attendance at one of these meetings, everyone is welcome to come out, and specific times are set aside for the public to address the board. The next meeting will be held on Tuesday, August 13th at the board offices starting at 6:30. That does it for this week's school news. Until next time, I'm Alexis Zorn.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, Ford Motor Company has told its U.S. dealers to give free repairs to any Focus and Fiesta owners who complain about problems with the car's power shift dual clutch transmission, according to a memo obtained by Automotive News. The offer, made after a Detroit newspaper published a lengthy report that said Ford knowingly launched the cars with faulty transmission, lasts until about July 19th, but could be extended. In the July 12th memo, Ford said dealerships should arrange to diagnose the vehicle and repair as necessary. The fixes can be applied to 2011 to 2017 models, many of which are out of warranty. Previous class action lawsuits have covered 2011 to 2016 models with transmissions that customers complained would shudder, jerk, and hesitate. Dealers were told to expect another update by July 19th. The memo, first reported by the Detroit Free Press, followed a July 11th report by the newspaper that said Ford knew about the transmission defects yet sold them anyway. The automaker responded saying the report made conclusions that are not based in fact. At Ford, we're committed to taking care of our customers quickly and thoroughly, Ford spokesman Saeed Deep said in a statement. We have been and we will continue to work with our 3,100 dealers to ensure we are doing exactly that. Automotive News reported this month that former Ford CEO Mark Fields has been called to testify in ongoing litigation surrounding the troublesome gearboxes which have haunted the automaker for years. Ford reached a settlement in 2017 in a class action lawsuit covering 1.9 million owners, but the deal was being challenged in California federal court on the grounds that not enough owners would be compensated. A separate mass tort case involving thousands of customers is pending in Michigan. And over at Toyota, how can Toyota make the world's best-selling green car, the Prius, even greener? Cover the top with solar panels and run it on SunPower. That's the goal of a trial Toyota Motor Company is starting this month in Japan. The system generates enough juice to drive the Prius PHEV for about 35 miles. Japan's biggest automaker is running the trial on public roads through February in conjunction with solar cell maker Sharp Corporation under a Japanese government-backed initiative called the New Energy and Industrial Technology Development Organization. Toyota already has a Prius with solar panels, but the technology is offered as a Japan-only option on the Prius PHEV, the plug-in variant sold in the U.S. as the Prius Prime. The new demo car dramatically boosts performance. Unlike the current system, which charges only while the car is parked, the new version also charges while being driven. The existing Prius PHEV system generates about 180 watts of electricity while the vehicle is parked, enough to power less than 4 miles of battery-only driving. The new system delivers 860 watts, or nearly 5 times the energy, enough for about 28 miles if the car is charged while parked, or 35 miles if charged while driving. Some of the gains come through more efficient solar cells, but the new technology also uses many more solar panels. The hood, roof, and rear window are layered with black solar cells just 0.03 millimeters thick. Because they are so thin, they can be form-fitted to the Prius's body curves and rear hatch. A Toyota spokesman said rear visibility isn't a problem because the driver can use the side mirrors while driving and the rear vision video camera when parking or backing up. Toyota said its test will help it determine how much solar energy will boost the cruising range and fuel efficiency of electrified vehicles. And on the recall front, Volvo was recalling 507,000 vehicles worldwide because of a faulty engine component that in extreme cases could result in a fire. Volvo said its own investigations have identified that in very rare cases the plastic engine intake manifold may melt and deform. The cars being recalled were produced between 2014 and 2019 and have a two-cylinder, or that's to say a 2-liter 4-cylinder diesel engine, Volvo said. The affected models are the S60, S80, S90, V40, V60, V70, V90, XC60, and XC90. While the company has no reports of accidents or personal injuries, all customers will receive a letter asking them to contact their local retailer for corrective action. In the very worst case, there is a possibility that a localized engine bay fire may occur, Volvo said. The company is keen to fix the faulty vehicles as fast as possible, and customers will not incur any costs related to addressing the error, he said. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down life's highways.